This is Sports 225 with Lee Feinswag. Sports 225 with Lee Feinswag is Baton Rouge's longest running and best television show. Who would have believed that?
My best friend, Lee Feinswag, look at the Christmas.
Sports 225 is brought to you by Breck. Remember, it all starts at Breck. Now, your host, Lee Feinswag.
Well, there's two things when we start this Sports 225. The first is it's got to be my favorite time when I have Ron Higgins on, and he's here from NOLA.com. And the other thing is I'm looking at the monitor, and I said, well, I was going to wear a pink shirt, and instead I wore this. But this was one I traded for with a guy who plays water polo from Puerto Rico, and that's actually PUR Puerto Rico and a water polo ball. Third straight week of wearing pink shirts because of breast cancer awareness time. And, I'm not at any sporting events where they're doing it, but, it's my thing. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. I would have wore shades had you told me you would wear that.
Yeah, this has got sort of a fluorescent pink to it or something. It's kind of crazy. Well, you may have heard that LSU plays Alabama in football this coming Saturday.
No,
and,
they are?
Yeah, it is. It's big.
Is Alabama any good this year?
They're not bad.
Okay.
They're not bad. Well, that's you asked that, and it's a rhetorical question in essence. But how do they do it every year? How does a program in today's world continually lose guys after the junior year to the draft and continually bring in recruits who are ready to play? Like they have freshman guys who can fill in, and then of course the other people get better. How does Alabama be the only program that doesn't suffer a setback in essence over the last decade?
Well, it all starts with Nick Saban and the fact that he sets his program up like a pro organization. He has so many, consultants and whatever you want to call them, that they're allowed by the NCAA. You can hire many people as you want. So Alabama probably has a staff of more than 40 for football, and every assistant coach has an assistant. And that assistant coach will look at films on opponents and people they're recruiting and kind of vet people, and so it kind of cuts down on it. Also, Nick will assign certain height and weights to every position. He'll rarely recruit a guy that's under a minimum height and weight for a position. That's two. And he recruits guys that he prepares them to play as freshmen. And so they always have the mindset, I came here to play, and I'm going to prepare to play, and that's my mindset. And he never, ever rests, as you know. I mean,
yeah.
He's working on the total package as far as a player. He's always thinking of motivation. And you'll never see, I don't think Nick will ever be rest until he retires, whenever that'll be. And then he might look back and look at the stuff he's done, which is remarkable. I was writing a column for this week, and I was looking, how dominant Alabama has been with Nick. He's lost 18 games by an average on all 18 games, and the average margin of defeat has been one possession.
Really?
Yeah. And
wow.
They have winning streaks of 5 or more games over half the SEC right now. We got win streaks of 10 games over 3 teams. So LSU shouldn't feel bad at five losses in a row.
Well, you said one thing that's interesting, which is freshmen are ready to play. Okay, so if you're a baseball player coming into college, or a volleyball player or a basketball player, you not only play your high school sport, but you play off season. So baseball players might play 65, 70 games, in Legion ball or whatever they do. Basketball, the whole AAU thing. So these kids are ready to come. The volleyball, they play all year round, and they're all ready to go. Football players only play in the fall. They play their, high school 10, 11 games. Kids who go to Alabama probably play 12 or so because they play in state championships and all. Playoffs, but it's not like they play football year round. So how is it?
Now you get a lot of 7-on-7 in the summer, a lot of 7-on-7 tournaments.
Yeah, so that's maybe similar, right? Especially for skill positions.
Yeah, so you'll see the freshmen who are more ready are wide receivers and running backs and DBs and quarterbacks, the skill positions. So you get a lot of 7-on-7 tournaments in the summer. That's what you see mostly. So, but there's nothing for linemen or anything like that. But yeah, you see. That's why you see more freshman quarterbacks who are ready, like. Jalen Hurts of Alabama, who doesn't look anything like a freshman.
No, but you mentioned the linemen don't do that or benefit from it. Why are their linemen always so good? Their lines are the best. And if I'm a football coach and you tell me, and I've said this before to you and other people, if you say, all right, you can start a team and you can have one thing. I want a great offensive line. That's what I want to start with. for example?
And I think one, it comes to the fact again. It goes to he recruits a minimum height and weight, and then they really vet their kids. They if Alabama signs a 3-star guy, it's by mistake. Most of the guys are 5-star guys, and it's just ridiculous. And he's able to, create a competition in practice every day because the talent is so good. If somebody scrimmages, he say, get out of there. Another 5-star in there. Just sit down. And that kind of competition, your practices are harder than your games because of the competition for playing time. Other places, I talked to an SEC coach the other week. We were talking about Alabama. He goes, Alabama does that. With me, I've got linebackers that really shouldn't be playing, but they're all I've got. I don't have the luxury of going, all right, get out of here. I'll get somebody else in. Because Alabama has that, and they do. They really do.
He's Ron Higgins. He covers LSU and the SEC for NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune. And when we get back, he's got a story for me from more than 35 years ago. Think about that. I'm Lee Feinswag. It's Sports 225.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College, and I really encourage you to come out to our 12-acre campus here on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge.
Contact ITI to enroll in our Construction Management Associate and Occupational Studies degree program. Learn to plan, coordinate, budget, and supervise construction projects and collaborate with engineers and architects in the residential, commercial, industrial, and heavy civil construction industry sectors. Call now about this new, exciting career degree. ITI Technical College. Begin your journey to a better life.
All right, we're back on Sports 225. I'm Lee Feinswag hanging out with Ron Higgins from NOLA.com, and we're talking LSU and SEC football. Specifically, we'll talk about LSU playing Alabama this weekend, which is interesting because the LSU Stadium now seats 100,000, and I maintain that for a game like this, there's about another 50,000 people who come and tailgate and stay.
At least.
Yeah, so thereby making it the 5th largest city in Louisiana with about 150,000 people on campus. And it's always an amazing, interesting event for these things, like these real big SEC games, because there's just so many people there and they're so interesting and colorful. And then if you take the time to go walk and tailgate, it smells great, which I personally won't do because it's going to be in the damn 80s in November.
I think a little bit cooler than that.
You can believe or not believe in global warming, but you better believe in the fact that the calendar's changed. Because it used to be around, 30 years ago here in Louisiana, you got to October 10th or 15th, and it was fall.
Yeah.
And now our springs are cooler a little bit later, and our autumns come later. I think the calendar's turned at the very least.
I'm agreeing with you because it is warmer. For a long time I was in Memphis, so I never really got that. So it would get chilly quicker. I'd go to Fayetteville in October and early November. I'm like, I can't feel my hands.
Coldest I've ever been ever in my entire life was actually an LSU at Alabama football game. Ray Mellick, our friend who used to be a sports writer, and I sat next to each other, and Ray had a pair of gloves, and we took turns with his gloves, wearing them on our right hand, left hand, and we trade. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
His typing was just awful.
I went to a game so cold one time that I had a computer. It was called a TI machine.
Oh, heck yeah.
They were big, and it would have trouble sitting in cold weather. So I went to my office and said, what do I do? I said, why don't you bring a heating pad and put a heating pad under it. Next game I had a heating pad for my machine, sit perfectly.
I would give anything for some of those old computers I had when we first got in.
Trash 80s.
Oh.
Run off batteries.
Yeah, double A's. And
I covered Olympics and sold the trash 80s.
Yeah, and all you could do was put maybe 3 stories of 20 inches long on there, then you had to kill them out.
And it had this big of a screen, so you had to really remember what you wrote.
No, it's amazing some of the sports writing I go back and see when I think all I could see was 3 sentences at a time as you scrolled through. And then one of those old bubbles from the originals.
Oh, yeah.
How cool would that be to be like an end table?
Yeah, exactly. They're heavy. It was a lethal weapon.
Oh, gosh. And some of you may remember the rotating precursor to fax machines.
Mm-hmm. Telecopier.
Yeah.
And the smell it made. When
there's a great scene from Where the Buffalo Roam where Bill Murray plays Hunter S. Thompson. And the fax machine or that telecopier machine, he just pulls a gun out of his desk and blows it away. It's one of my favorite moments.
Been like that a lot of times with computers too at times.
Well, that's true. So the story I alluded to before the break from 35 years ago or more, I was time framing. You didn't say exactly when, but I asked you before the show if you'd ever met Bear Bryant, And if you had any stories about him, of course, the legendary late Alabama coach.
Well, my senior year at LSU, which was 78, 79, I worked for 3 games with ABC as a field production assistant. One of them was LSU, Alabama. The other one was a SWAC game in Tiger Stadium, which was interesting. And the other one was the Ohio State game with Woody Hayes. We punched the Clemson guy. I was 10 feet from it when it happened. So I felt like Forrest Gump and all this stuff. I was like right there. The Alabama game was my first game doing this, and so this was in Birmingham, yeah. And so it was in Legion Field. And so my job as production assistant was to get the teams on and off the field in pregame warm-up, so when they come out, they wouldn't be in the national anthem. They didn't want to go in to live telecast with the national anthem playing. ABC hated that, didn't want that, so that was my job. So Alabama kind of comes on late for the warm-up, so they're kind of running late. And so the producer gets my earpiece on the sideline and says, "Hey, you need to tell Alabama to get off the field right now." I said, "Okay, what do you suggest I do?" "Go talk to Bryant, tell him to get his team off the field." I'm like, I'm 20, 23 years old. I'm just like, Bear Bryant? Yeah, tell him to get his team off the field. So I talked to everybody, but Bear Bryant, the elephant, assistants, nothing's happened. I went back and said, "I can't get him off the field." He goes, "Have you talked to Bryant?" I said, "No." "Well, go talk to him." I'm like, oh man. So as always, Bear always in warm-ups, he always leaned against the goalpost.
Right.
Had the hat cocked to one side, feet crossed. You couldn't really see his eyes. So I'm like walking down there, trudging down there, like, oh God. So I go up there. I said, Coach Bryant, I'm Ron Higgins with ABC, and we'd really appreciate it if you could get your team off the field on time because we got to start the game. So thank you. And all I couldn't see his eye. All I could hear was like, a bunch of cussing. Like, okay, I did my part. Walking back to my headset. Right when I get to it, I hear running off the field. Producer goes, "Great job. What did you say to him?" I said, "I just told the old SOB to get his team off the field." That's my Bear Bryant story. And all the ABC games I did had something went wrong. Every one of them. So
you were there. You were right there when I remember, the Woody Hayes punch.
Yeah, I was there. I mean, the night before, we had to do we taped the start lineups underneath the stadium because it rained. So we had this little setup, and my job was to stand next to the camera and tell the guys to move. And so Woody was standing there, and guys were chewing gum. He's going, "Get the gum out of your mouth." He's reaching guys from out, pulling their gum out. I'm like, oh, God almighty. So last guy, I said, who was the last guy? I said, "Hey, Coach Hayes, we'd like to shoot you now." "Yeah, a lot of people like to shoot my ass, wouldn't they?" I'm like, God. So the next day we get our assignment and say, "Ron, you've got the Ohio State sideline." I'm like, "Really?" They go, "Yeah, just try to stay out of Woody's sight." And so I was a part of history. This is, as you remember.
I want to guess this was 19. Was it 79?
79. It was 79 Gator Bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
Ohio State and Clemson.
Yeah.
And
I remember exactly watching it on
Danny
TV.
Ford, the Clemson coach. Okay, I'm on the Ohio State sideline, sometime in the second half. Clemson intercepts the ball. I can't remember the linebacker's name. I think last name was Ballman, maybe. I can't remember the name. But he's tackled right in front of the Ohio State bench. And I'm look, as close as that TV set is right here. That's where it happened. I'm standing on the bench watching it. It's right in front of me. And the Clemson linebacker, he's got the ball. He's looking for the ref. He's looking around for the ref. He's holding the ball up. What do you think he's taunting him? He reaches down by George. He picks him up and uppercuts him. I'm like, holy Christ! And then all of a sudden, his assistant coach is trying to grab him, and he's hitting the assistant coaches with a clipboard. Meanwhile, the producer going on, "What's going on? What's going on? What's going on now?" I said, "Woody just hit the Clemson linebacker who intercepted the ball. Just hit him with an uppercut." "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah." Are you sure?" And I can hear all this stuff going on. Apparently, Keith Jackson and Frank Broyles did not see it on the monitor. They were looking at the field. They didn't want to look at the monitor, so they didn't see what happened. So nobody knows what happened. So they're relying on me. I'm saying, "I'm telling you, this is what happened. Are you sure?" "I'm 100% sure." So they went on there and were kind of iffy about it. So I hear the producer go, "Okay, replay, give it to me." Like, pause. Replay's not working. "What? Replay's not working?" "Something's wrong with the replay. It's not working." And so there was this big conspiracy that ABC didn't want to show Woody Hayes throwing a punch. So what ABC had to do was they had to go to Jacksonville TV station, which was tape delaying it, and have them microwave their tape back to the truck, and then they finally showed it later on what happened. But there was this big conspiracy that ABC didn't want to show it, but it happened. Now, I kept saying, because he didn't have a sideline reporter, okay? I was kind of like the sideline reporter too, so I said, I'm telling you, it happened right in front of me. He hit the guy, he uppercutted him. And I remember as soon as the game was over, putting my headset down and then going in my sports writer mode. I was following all the Clemson beat writers Ohio State beat writers to the dressing room. All of them were like, he's gone. He is so gone. Woody is so gone. And he was. Yeah. So, yeah, like I said.
I'm going to be gone if we don't go to break. We're way over, but that was great. I wasn't going to stop that story. That was fabulous.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. Forrest Gump Higgins. Because that's a great analogy as well.
I know what controversy is.
He's Ron Higgins. He covers LSU and the SEC for NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune, and I'm Lee Feinswag, and you can find out all about this show at sports225.com, and we're way over, so we're going to break. Oh, hi. I was checking out Yelphi. I do it all the time, all day, because it brings me all the news I need to know in sports. I mean, I've got a customized news feed, real-time scores. It's integrated with Facebook and Twitter. You download it on iTunes, Yelphi, Y-E-L-L-F-Y. It's a great app and a fantastic Twitter feed. Oh, the stuff we are talking about that has nothing to do with what this show is about, which is we've told such good stories. We don't have that much time, so I got to hurry up and get to Ron and talk about LSU Alabama football this weekend. LSU has nothing to lose and is turned into a great feel-good story. Do I have that right?
Yeah, it's turned into a great feel-good story for Coach O.
Yeah.
You know, he's a Tiger fan. And he's done a really, really good job of he's done a great job of realizing that he means it when he says it's about the team. And whatever happens in 4 weeks happens in 4 weeks. Everybody was asking about the job,
right,
the job.
Yeah.
He's been really good at deflecting that. Now, he's sincere about it. He's done a really good job of letting his coaches coach. They got nothing to lose. I mean, they're a 7-point underdog. Hopefully some of those things that they've been doing are different than past years. That throwing the ball a bit more, spreading it out, probably get the ball to Fournette in space some. Just trying to diversify it. I mean, I think a lot of it, the game comes down to two things for LSU: pass protection and Danny Etling making good decisions and hitting some passes to kind of loosen things up. They've got to do that. And then on the other side, Jalen Hurts is just ridiculous as Alabama's quarterback. I almost think they treat him like Johnny Manziel and put a spy on him and don't overrush him.
No, it's what you talked about LSU offensively. It's not dramatically different than what they were doing before Ed took over and Les Miles and Cam Cameron stopped being the coaches. It's just a little bit of tinkering. It's not like they're passing way more, and it's not like they're not relying on the run. But it goes back to what we talked about in the first segment, which is the power of the lines of Alabama, which is, can LSU run against them and protect the quarterback? And then conversely, Alabama will grind you up.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama's going to come right at you. They're going to run right up the middle. That's what they like to do. But again, I mean, if you bring your safeties up, Kiffin is smart enough. Alabama's offensive coordinator is smart enough. Lane is smart enough to throw over the top, and they got people to throw over the top too.
Yeah.
And Hurts is like another running back, and he is so incredibly fast. He can cover 50 yards in a blink. He's big and he's strong. He gives them an option they never had before. A dual threat quarterback who's really, really good. It's pretty incredible. They've had 3 different starting quarterbacks in 3 years, and none of them probably have started a game before they became quarterback. Maybe last year they had one start before he started, and he was incredible.
Which goes back to the incredible value of Lane Kiffin for all the things that go. All right, we got to take this break so we have time to at least sniff in the last segment.
All
right, and we'll do that. We'll be right back.
It was nearly a decade ago that Brett teamed up to Imagine Your Parks, and you imagined big. 12 beautiful community parks from one end of the parish to the other, one family-sized water park, and 5 other parks just for your dogs. You have places to splash and places to explore. You have games to play and camps galore. No matter what you like to do or see, visit breck.org and see how together we have made Breck better than imagined.
All right, coming down the home stretch of a Sports 225 that has been way fun, but we still got to get after the end of the LSU-Alabama football game. But first, I'll remind you that you can go to sports225.com to watch all of our shows, including the last time Ron Higgins was on about a month ago, and last week's show with LSU basketball coach Johnny Jones, in which he admitted to me his team didn't play defense last year. And
No.
I was stunned. And to see when all the air times are on Cox 4 and CST, and of course you can watch it anytime on Sports 225 TV channel, which you access through that website. And thanks to John Williams from jcwproductions.com for everything you want for your video, digital, and branding needs. So who do you think? You're laughing at me. What do you got?
I was thinking about Johnny Jones, because last week I asked him, I said, I think it's Showtime, the Ben Simmons special comes on.
Oh, yeah, not good.
November 4th, and I asked him, so what do you think, have you seen anything bit of it? And he goes, Johnny goes, yeah. I said, well, how is he? He goes, kind of like last season. Kind of pretty consistent.
Yeah, Johnny's a great guest. He was a great guy. He was prepared for me because, I asked him, I said, I know coaches put the most pressure on themselves, but you got to admit this is, a pivotal year. And he touted all of the great things that they've done and where they're at. And
well, that's what coaches do.
And they just better win. But speaking of winning, do you think LSU can win this football game?
I think anybody has a chance to win, really.
Of course.
I've seen some of the craziest stuff, games ever, in all sports.
And let me stop you with that. We have not had that Saturday yet. There hasn't been that Saturday yet this NCAA season.
Yeah. I've seen so many. I was there when Villanova beat Georgetown in the Final Four. Who would have thought that? I was, another Final Four when NC State beat Olajuwon on the tip. And football, I've seen, Alabama beat Miami in the Sugar Bowl for the national championship. Miami was favored with Torretta, and they're supposed to kill me. So I've seen anything's possible. But LSU basically almost has to play a perfect game. They really do. Can't have turnovers. Alabama, trouble beating Alabama is not their offense scores, but their defense scores. And they got a lot of touchdowns. So can LSU win? Yeah, they can win. Will they win? I said the spread is 7. I said they'll beat the spread, and we'll go from there.
Oh, so you're thinking a close game. If Alabama wins, you think Alabama wins the national championship?
Yeah. They have Auburn last week at the season, and Auburn has really turned it around. Totally
they really
different,
have.
Totally different team. They got a running game that's hard to beat. This SEC's been interesting. Some teams have popped up down the stretch that you never thought. After the season opener, Kentucky, Mark Stoops was apologizing to the fans for how bad they played. Now he's probably a Coach of the Year candidate in the league because they're second in the East.
Well, it just reminds you again, as I always say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You got to let all 12 regular season games in the bowl game play out to evaluate a football season.
And when you get to this point of the year in late October or November, it's not your starters that win games, it's your reserves because you're running on fumes. And you really got to have depth at this point.
All right, he's Ron Higgins. You can read his stuff at NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune, and you should because he is the best sports writer in Louisiana. And the next time you come on, if we keep you spaced out properly, it'll be right around the time when we've decided who's going to the college football playoff, and that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
And thanks to you for watching, and this has been Sports 225. And we are fading away. And perfect. So there's plenty.
At carnival time by Baton Rouge Bay, that's the site of my story. At Spanish Town Mardi Gras, things can get blurry. See the mowers marching, prizes fill the sky. This Spanish Town Mardi Gras, may it never die. Poetry was everywhere, sweet music filled the air, and just then she glanced my way.